everyone, it's Joy, and today I'll be talking about the books that I've read recently. So it's been a while that I talked about the books that I've read recently. I have 10 books to talk about, and some of them that I've read in December, and a lot have been from the ones from January and the beginning of February. So yeah, January was a good reading month. I read 6 books, which is... I haven't read that many books in January in a long time. I usually end up reading 1 or 2 books in January, but I'm just glad that 2023 for reading for me is a good start. And yeah, I just can't wait to talk about the books that I read recently. So let's talk about the books that I've read recently. So the first book that I've read recently is Soul of the Sword by Julie Kagawa. This is the second book in Shadow of the Fox series. If you haven't read the first book's about a girl who is half human and half demon, and she goes on a quest to find the scroll, but then she meets and teams up with a samurai, and that's from what I remembered from the first book. I read this and I listened to this on audiobook, and I actually really enjoy the audiobook, so I still really like the characters, and I really like the world, and I just can't wait to finish off this trilogy, and hopefully soon rather than later, because I've been so behind on sequels lately. But yeah, this was a 4-star read for me. So the next book that I've read recently is The Wishing Spell by Chris Colfer. This is the first book in Land of Stories series. This is about 2 twins who got a fantasy book from their grandmother, but then they were magically transported into the book. The whole story goes from there. I really like this book. I really like the characters. I really like the world, and I really like how they explain how they're and I really like how there's illustrations throughout, like in the chapter headings and stuff. But let me show you. So there's, yeah, and then there's a map which I didn't know about of the whole kingdom, and I really like that. I really like the world. I really like the characters, and one issue that I have is it was like how big it is. It's like 450 pages, but I still really enjoyed this book either way, so I give this 4 stars. So the next book that I've read recently is Assaulted Caramel by Amanda Flower. This is about a woman whose grandparents were Amish, and they owned a candy store, and she was coming to visit them, but then there was a murder that just happened right in their candy shop, and they're trying to figure out who done it, and I really enjoyed this book. I really liked the character. I really like Bailey, and I really liked how they have a background, a family background that I never read from any other books, and I really liked how it takes place in a candy shop, and of course it's a cozy mystery. I read it like very quickly. I just read this for a 48-hour readathon. I think I started before I started that readathon, and I just finished it that day. So yeah, I really enjoy this, and I'm trying to remember why I rate this, but I did really enjoy it overall, so I give this 4 stars. And the next book that I read recently is A Golden Fury by Samantha Kuho. This is about a girl who's trying to find this Philosopher's Stone, and she's an alchemist, and she tries to prove her mother wrong, that she can be an alchemist, and then she goes on this magic school, I think, and yeah, I'm trying to remember on top of my head about, and then her mother gets sick, and then she she was warned by other alchemists about her mother and the Philosopher's Stone. I'm trying to remember on top of my head. I read this quickly, but I honestly, this is one of the ones that disappointed me a bit. I literally got this, like maybe a couple years ago, and I picked it up, and yeah, it sounded interesting, and I really liked the cover and everything, but I just felt like the story kind of went a little slow for me, and also I found some of the characters like really maybe bland to me. I don't know. It was such a weird reading experience. It's like a standalone fantasy book, and I was disappointed that I didn't enjoy it. But like I said, it was okay. I don't know. I had mixed feelings towards it when I read this for a 48-hour readathon, but yeah, this was a 3-star read for me. And the next book that I read recently is Bonecryer's Moon by Catherine Purdy. This is about a girl who was destined to kill the boy that she loves, and then our main male character, it was destined to, I honestly try to remember on top of my head again. I know I read this on audiobook. I didn't enjoy parts of the audiobook, but then part of the story kind of, he was trying to kill a bone crier that killed his mother or something like that. I'm trying to remember on top of my head. I found this okay. I honestly wish there wasn't like 3 different characters' perspectives, in my opinion. I have keep troubling track on which character is which, other than the only one I could tell is the main character, but the other, because you get 2 other female characters' perspectives. I mean, I liked one of them, but it's just, yeah, it was okay. I rate this 3 stars. I listened to the half of it on audiobook, but I also read it physically because my library wouldn't allow me to renew the audiobook for some reason. But yeah, this was a 3-star read for me. It was so hyped on BookTube. I was just disappointed that I didn't enjoy it as much as everybody else. But yeah, it was a 3-star read for me. And the next book that I've read recently is A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. This is the second book in a Darker Shade of Magic series. If you haven't read the first book is basically about a fantasy world where there's 4 different Londons. There's White London, Red London, Grey London, and Black London. And then you follow the main character who is basically can travel into different versions of Londons. I'm trying to remember on top of my head, but I'm glad that the second book picked up where they left from the first book, even though it took place like 4 months after that. But I really enjoy this one. I really like the characters, and I still really like the world. That's what I liked about it, but I'm glad that I read this physically versus the audiobook, because I didn't like the audiobook of the first book that much. But yeah, I can't wait to read the final book of the series, and I give this 4 stars. And the next book that I read recently is Small Favors by Aaron A. Craig. This is really hard to explain what this book is about. It's about a family who are beekeepers, and they live in a small town, but nobody ever visits the small town. But then all of a sudden there was a monster that just appeared out of nowhere. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one, but I sadly did not enjoy this as much as House of Star and Sorrows, which was her debut novel, and I know there's a sequel of that coming out this year that I'm really excited about. But I still enjoy this one, even though I found it a slow bit, but I still really enjoy this. I really like the characters, and yeah, and I really like the plot of the book, even though it was very confusing to me. But yeah, I give this 4 stars. And the next book that I read recently is Misters of Evil by Serena Valentino. I've literally read these Disney Villains books within a day, and I'm really surprised how quickly that I've read Misters of Evil. This is basically about Maleficent, as you can tell by the cover. I really enjoy this one. I was surprised about the twist. That one I did not see coming, to be honest with you, when it comes to Maleficent's story. I've honestly I was trying not to compare Once Upon a Dream, which is the Disney Twisted Tales series. It's one of their, like, I call it their What Ifs series, and I just really enjoy that series. But with this one, I honestly was surprised by that twist, and I really can't wait to read more of these, because I really want to catch up, because they have one of Kevin Hook that came out on my birthday last year, and I just really want to catch up with this series. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I read this really quickly, and I just can't wait to read more from the Disney Villains series, and I give this 5 stars. And the next book that I read recently is If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy, excuse me, sorry about that. And this is obviously a Cinderella retelling, but in this one, this is about a woman who is plus size, and she wants to prove herself that women like her can go on a dating show that's like The Bachelor. That's how I described it. And yeah, and her stepmother is the executive producer, and she's not allowing her to, but someone who works with her stepmother says she just wants to be represented. And of course there's romance involved in this, because it's like I said, it's a Cinderella retelling, but with like a Bachelor twist to it, which I really love this book. I can't wait to read more of this series, and it makes me want to pick up more books by Julie Murphy, because I haven't read, this is like the first book that I've read from, and I just can't wait to read more from the series, because I know the second one who's written by a different author is Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I can't wait to read that. So yeah, and I definitely give this 5 stars. And the last book that I read recently is Norway Volume 2, The Queen of the High Mountains by Kitten Kat Seaton. This is the second book in the Norway series, and this is a graphic novel series that I loved. If you haven't read the first book is basically how I describe it, as like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but with a Scottish mythology twist to it. I really loved the first book, and I also love this one, but I honestly wish this didn't take place 7 years after the first one, because I'm like, what's up with the time gap? That's one thing that bugs me about this, but I still love the characters. I love the artwork in this, and I'm just happy to see how the characters are going. And and then there's a cliffhanger at the end of this, so I do hope there's a third one coming out soon, because I want to pick it up as soon as possible. But yeah, I really enjoy this. I can't wait to read. I've been wanting to read more graphic novels, and this is definitely one of the ones that I was anticipating when it came out 2 years ago, I think. What was it, 2 years ago? Like 2021. Yeah, 2021. So yeah, I hope they come out with another volume of this series, because I really love this graphic novel series. So yeah, obviously I give this 5 stars. So that's all the books that I've read recently. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and comment down below what books that you've read recently. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button, click the bell icon so you know when I post new videos. Also, you can follow me on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, which all links will be down below for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!